Samyang 8mm 2.8 Fisheye 2. Is it any good? Let's crack this open then and see what we get. Instruction manual there even reminds you to set shoot without lens. Let me remind you that you can set the focal length to. Doesn't really make a difference other than for EXIF, but maybe on your XH1 it will help you with stabilization. Maybe somebody that's used a fisheye on the XH1 can let us know about that. Warranty card, handy little lens pouch, doesn't really have much to write home about, and the lens itself. My first impressions were nice solid lens from Samyang. I mean, we've used other lenses, we rave about the 12 F2. This is right up there. This is an interesting little cover here. You might just think, oh, I can just throw it on anyway, but no, you've got to get it on that way round. Once you get used to that, that's absolutely not a problem, and the thing does its job. Keeps this interesting bulbous lens design, as you find on, I think, every fisheye lens, sometimes a lot more extreme than that, and it just keeps it protected. You do get this fixed petal hood as well. Decent weight, metallic. Let's check out the back there. You can see that mount. That's a nice build, considering this is what, about a few £100, 180 second hand. It's really great build quality. Now you've got this aperture ring, clicks on ice, so 2.8 to 22. Now this manual focus ring is definitely quite stiff on mine, and looking online a lot of users have that too, but it's usable. It's not something you're going to be using particularly fast, but with this lens most of the time you might just be sticking it to infinity. This is more or less infinity. You might want to check out if your copy is spot on, but I had no problem. I mean, you could throw it into f8 infinity and you're away there. Of course, if you want to get it to a specific point, it's not coming out once you've got it there. So it is stiff, or rather quite heavy to use, but the manual focus ring does the job, and the distance scale is pretty decent. I mean, you're getting about a 0.18 closest focus, but it's fisheye 8mm, so you know, you get that down to 2.8, get your focus spot on, and then adjust the aperture as you will. Or if you want to work down at 2.8 and go as close as possible, you need a relatively decent size object to get it done, but looks nice once you do it. On the XT20, fits a treat, looks absolutely smart. I mean, that doesn't matter, but I think that's a cool looking thing. It's in keeping with the camera. Yeah, some of you might not be keen on this bit right here. I can live with it, whatever. Fits nicely, and there's no play at all in the mount between the lens and the body. We're going to throw up some samples. They're just very random around town stuff, just so you can see what we're really looking at. Now, it's worth mentioning that all the samples are straight out the camera. Some stop down to f8, some wide open 2.8. You should be able to tell the difference, but with this thing a lot will be in focus full stop, unless you really make a conscious effort to blow out the background. I'll let you know what conclusion I came to after this section. there you go, quick rip around town. What did you think? Not about the images themselves, but about the capabilities of the lens. You can even, in inverted commas, fix the distortion, which is obviously quite apparent in some images around the edge. You can, yes, fix them with a Fisheye Hemi plugin, which I used in Photoshop, which just takes the edge off it, literally, just brings it back into shape. It was sharp in the center. Now, of course, once you start moving something out of the center or around, the distortion gets more extreme and it's not as sharp at the edges. You're not going to expect edge to edge sharpness even when you're stopping down to f8 or further, but it's great fun and the sharpness is definitely there. Although I had a relatively grey week, I found the colours were nice. The rendition was what we've come to expect from Samyang. I felt that it looked after contrast pretty well. Again, we're talking about the center of the frame more than anything. The contrast worked well with the rendering and the colors and the sharpness to produce a real fine image, not just fun, but sharp and on the money. It has that Samyang flavor that I think, you know, we're getting used to now, and it fits in well with the other lenses that we've tried out. Should you get this over the 12mm F2? Different lens. Yeah, although you can get ultra wide, especially when you use the Hemi plugin, that 12 F2 is a special lens. It is a classic. I think this is if you want to go extra fun, but be prepared, it is extra fun. The 12mm, a little bit more sensible while being more or less ultra wide. I think they've both got their place in the kit bag for a wide shooter. I want to hear from you. What did you think about this Samyang lens if you've used it, or do you have a preference for fisheye on the Fujifilm bodies? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe, hit the notification bell because apparently you missed some of the videos. Now we've got a lot of cool content coming up. We should be looking at some of the new bodies from Fujifilm. I like to get into them for a while. I like to let firmware and pre-production bugs run out, at least until they send me something pre-production, but I'll always mention that to you. So, you know, stay tuned, and your comments really do make the difference, unless they're completely ridiculous, of course.